Hi! Today I'm back to talk to you about my Tom Ford eyeshadow quad in 04 Crushed Amethyst. And if you saw my last video where I had a haul from Neiman Marcus, I showed this and some other purchases that I had. And today I've had a few days in between then and now to really play with it, and I thought I would come on and tell you a little bit more about it. So first off, let's actually look at the quad itself. It comes in this brown sleeve, which I actually keep mine because I don't like letting them kind of jumble around together because I have a problem like that. If anyone else keeps theirs, let me know, because I always hear about people saying that they're throwing theirs away and I don't want to be the only one that keeps it. But I do notice that with those sleeves, they attract every speck of white fluff in my whole house, which is not the most attractive thing, but I figure if it's keeping it safe from scratches, then that's better than nothing. So anyway, looking at the packaging, it's beautiful, as you would expect it to be for $75, but let's just go ahead and look at the colors now. And this is them. They're beautiful, there's no doubt about it. There's a beautiful sheen to them. I don't even know what to say about it other than they're beautiful. But you don't just buy it for how beautiful it is in the packaging. So let's take a little look-see about the formulas that they come in. They come in 4 different formulas. There is a sheer sparkle, a satin, a shimmer, and a matte. Now, every eyeshadow quad does not come with one of those 4 different formulas, so that's the main reason why I picked Crushed Amethyst over Violet Dusk when I went and swatched it. Now, Violet Dusk was the other purple themed quad in his line, and it came with this lightest color being a sheer sparkle. So when I swatched it, it literally is sparkle across your hand. That wasn't what I was looking for at the time. So what I'm going to do for you today in this video is I'm going to show you a couple of swatches of this, talk about the colors, talk about 3 looks that I did with this that I really think will help you see the versatility of this palette and see what it's really capable of. Not only can it be pigmented, dark, and very bright purples, which can scare a couple people, but that's what some people look for, but then it also can be really sheared out for a light wash of color and just add a hint to your makeup of the unexpected, which I think is really beautiful. And so these colors, I'm going to swatch them right now. Hopefully you'll see a little video up here going. These 4 colors, I really describe them as 1, 2, 3, 4 when I'm talking about them. This first color looks like a white. Not my favorite sort of shimmery white out there, but you know, it's a good addition. It adds lots of sparkle to this palette. The second color is really the one that I find looks most pink on my lids, that and the third color. This second color is really got a lot of shimmer to it, but it's not one of the sheer glitter, the sheer sparkle shades. And yeah, so we're just gonna get on to looking at the looks right now. I want to start off by saying that all 3 of my looks had Nubile Paint Pot as a base. Now that is what I use as a base for most of my eyeshadow looks actually. And that's because I love the color, it matches my skin tone, the slip on it is great. It's not a matte paint pot, so the eyeshadows kind of roll across it much easier in my experience. And also what I use to apply these each time were my 2 MAC brushes. I have 239 and 217. I used it, I just wanted to keep it simple, sweet. I don't own any Tom Ford brushes yet, although I would love to, and they are probably going to be one of my next purchases. Probably. So let's get into look number 1. Look number 1 was using all 4 colors in this palette. I really wanted to be able to show you what its potential is. What I did was I took this lightest color right here and I put that in the very inner corner of my eye. I next took this second color and I washed it over the inner 2/3 of my eye. I took this slightly lighter, what I call shade number 3, but it's slightly lighter than the darker shade. I took that and I put it in the outer third, and then I really used the matte darkest color in the crease to kind of smoke it all out. Now, look number 2 is what I call a neutral wash of color. This is not usually what I wear on my eyes because I am not a neutral color sort of person. I like a darker eye. I feel like I can't really pull off the lighter colors, but I did it for you anyway because I know that a lot of people like the neutral colors, and I want you to be able to see not only what you can do if you use all 4 shades in this palette, but what you can do if you select 1 or 2, and especially if you pair it with other matte shades, which is what look number 2 is. It's using all matte shades. So if you're into that, take a look at this picture. Now what I really did with this was I put MAC in the color Bisque all over the lid, not only on top up into the crease, but also below my eye. I then took Urban Decay Tease, I put that in the crease and just really blew it out. That is the pretty much darkest color that I used besides the matte shade from the Tom Ford palette. Then I took the, of course, darkest Tom Ford shade, which is also a matte, and I put it along the lash line right over top of my eyeliner, and I put a hint of it in the crease. Now I used my 217 brush and I just lightly fluffed it all over it. And as you can see, even though it's a really dark shade and you can build it up to be very pigmented, you also can sheer it out to just give a hint or a wash of color. Now, look number 3 was a completely different direction that I wanted to go in, and that's also to show you the different capabilities that this palette can be used. Don't get stuck into the thought that these palettes you can only use this palette to complete a look. You can only use 2 of these colors or 3 of these colors or all 4, which it doesn't have to be done. You can really mix and match with things you already have. Look number 3 I'm wearing on my eyes today, and I really like doing complementary and yet contrasting things on my eye. I used a reddish brown of the, if I have it, I'll show it to you, the Burberry eye palette in Mocha. Beautiful colors, not my normal thing because I don't like warm colors usually, but I like contrasting these warm colors with purples, and a lot of the time they're blue based purples, which I think really kind of sets it off. Now what I do is also a gradient look. It's not moving from inner corner to outer corner, but it's moving lash line up. What I did was I took the Makeup Forever Aqua Cream in the color 14, which is a bronzy color. Mine's super dried out. I never use it except for when I'm trying to achieve a look like this. Then I took the Burberry Mocha palette. I took the lightest color under my brow bone, the second lightest color just under that, the second darkest color under that, and then this darkest brown, which is beautiful. It's got hints of red in it. It's really beautiful warm brown color. I put that closest down on the lid, and hopefully I'll have a image playing right now so you can see a little bit closer. Then what I did after I laid down all of those warm ready sort of browns, I took the Tom Ford eyeshadow palette. I took the darkest plum color. Again, I put on black liner right along my lashes and I really smoked it out with this matte plum. I then took the second darkest shade, which has a beautiful kind of reddish shimmer that goes really nicely with the bronze in the Aqua Cream. I fluffed that all over my inner lid and then up in the crease. No, I didn't really go up in the crease at all with these purples, and that's what helps really contrast in this gradient, is that you're keeping the reddy browns very separate from the plums, and there's just a little bit of an overlap, and you really don't necessarily notice it until you blink, and then you can kind of see a little sparkle of purple right on your lids, and I find it to be really beautiful, something that I'm kind of really into right now. So those were my 3 looks that I created with this palette. Hopefully it gives you just a little bit of an example of what you can really do and the versatility of palettes. And again, don't get stuck in a makeup rut of just pulling out an eyeshadow palette and then thinking that you just have to use these 4 colors, because you really don't. Plain and simple. Mix them in, mix them up, make them darker, make them lighter, really sheer them out. Just get creative with it. And that's the beauty of having different eyeshadow palettes, is it gives you a lot of versatility. And these formulas won't disappoint you. They can really be layered up to be super pigmented. They can also be sheared out. And you know, that's the great thing about it. So next, what I want to talk to you about is dupes, or the lack of dupes, as the case may be. Really the only dupe that I could find, and it's not even a dupe, is between the darkest plum shade and Tracks by MAC. And of course, not a true dupe, because Tracks has sparkle in it, and this of course is a matte. So it's got a little bit of reddish sparkle, but if you're looking for just pure color dupe, this is really the closest thing. And I'll show you the other things that I swatched and, you know, weren't dupes, even though they might have appeared to be that way in the pan. They were very deceptive. So now, when I first saw this, I thought of the 2 colors in the Dolce & Gabbana number 155, which I believe is named Fabulous. Of course I was talking about these 2 shades that are more greenish colored, but these 2 purple ones I really thought, when I first saw it in the store, could resemble it. The lightest color down here is remotely close to this color right here. Not completely though. I'll tell you that the Dolce & Gabbana is a little bit lighter. It's also a little more, I don't want to say chalky, because it's not really, it's like thicker, it's more pigmented. So if you really want a sheer wash, go with the Tom Ford over this Dolce & Gabbana. Now this darker one, which hopefully you'll be able to see on my closer ups, I thought would resemble this matte shade, although this dark one is not matte. It has little reflex of red in it, again, just like the MAC Tracks, but it is much darker. It comes across as a more smoky black plum as opposed to this one. And that's what I kept finding every time that I was looking for dupes, and that was that these are very pink toned. Everything I have is a blue toned purple. Now again, when I look at the Too Faced Boudoir eyes, I thought maybe this darkest color, which is Voulez-Vous, and then this top one, which is Lap Dance, would be somewhat close, especially to this color right here. Kind of thought it was really gonna do it this time, but it really didn't. And then for this lightest shade, I really thought I was gonna be able to find something for it, and I thought MAC Dazzle Light, but this slightly creamier. Now when you swatch them, the comparison is a little more easy. The Dazzle Light comes off a hint warmer, but really if you were to put them on your lids, you probably could get the same effect. Not the exact color, but who is really gonna notice when you have them on your lids? What it boils down to is this is pretty unique. It doesn't resemble any of the eyeshadows that I currently have. Again, mine are more cool toned blue base purples, and these come across as very pink, warm toned, bright purples. So if you're looking for something to add to your collection, I would definitely recommend it. Again, don't forget that you can just have a light wash of color across the lids. Definitely don't be afraid by these slightly shimmery looking things. They won't come across scary. You can really sheer them out with other eyeshadows in your collection and make them really wearable. Even though this looks bright, this can definitely be an everyday eyeshadow palette, and it's certainly going to be one of my everyday eyeshadow palettes. So that's really what I have to share with you today. Definitely go to Neiman Marcus, swatch this, compare it to the other shades in the line, especially Violet Dusk, the other purple palette that Tom Ford offers. I think you'll see that this one is definitely a more everyday palette. The other one is much more bright, also contains that sheer sparkle. So if you're not looking for sparkle, definitely avoid Violet Dusk. Not that this doesn't have sparkle, but it doesn't have the bam in your face kind of sheer sparkle that that one shade of Violet Dusk has. So check out this palette. I would recommend it not only for pigmented purple eyes, but also don't forget that you can add it as just a light kind of pop of color to any eye look that you're really going for. So please subscribe, keep watching. I have a lot of great reviews coming up, and have a great day. Bye.